Okay, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the through our problem of the day with you guys. So the way it's going to work for going through the problem of the day, you guys are going to have it for a full week. And now you're going to see that this is different than what we're used to. Normally we write our answers out and then I look at it like that in your notebook, but obviously it's digital, so we're not going to be doing that this time around. So we're going to start off. I have an example problem for you. I'm going to go through it with you real quick. We have an example problem. You have, after the example problem, this is the one that you guys are going to be doing on your own for the week. So you can take your time. You have the full week to complete it. And then at the bottom is going to be your little graphic organizers. This one's English, and then this one is in Spanish. Okay. So if I come up here and I read the problem, it says, Ella finished a bike race in 37 and 6/10 minutes. Miranda finished the race 9 and 1/10 minutes sooner than Ella finished it. How many minutes did it take Miranda to finish the race? So what I want to go ahead and do first of all is I'm going to look in here and I'm going to see, well, what is it that I'm looking for so I could fill out my known. So when I do that, if I come here with I'm going to get the little pen here and I'll go ahead and put it at yellow. But I know that I'm talking about Ella. I know that Ella finished, oops, sorry. I know that Ella finished the race. Let me erase that. That did not look good. Okay, so I know Ella finished the race in 37 and 6/10 minutes. Now notice how I read that number right there. 37 and 6/10 minutes, I say and 6/10. Because if I just say 37.6, I notice here I have a fraction and here I have a decimal. I know that I'm going to have to be changing one of them. And because this isn't multiple choice, you guys get to choose if you want to change the decimal to a fraction or the fraction to a decimal, okay? Then it tells me Miranda finished the race 9 and 1/10 minutes sooner. So when I see this word here, right here, sooner, when I see that word, that tells me that she finished it before. It's just terrible. Sorry. So she finished it sooner. I'm just going to go back to the little arrow. So she finished it sooner than Ella did. So I'm going to come down here and now I'm going to go ahead and write down what I know. So what I know is I have Ella and I know that she finished the race in 37 and 6/10 minutes. So she took 37 and 6/10 minutes to finish the race. I also know that I have Miranda. Now Miranda, I don't know her time, but it gives me a clue. It tells me that she finished, so I'm going to write finished 9 and 1/10, minutes sooner, right? And I know that that word right there, sooner, is super duper important because that tells me it's before. Now 9 and 1/10 minutes, this is a fraction, that's a decimal. That's where I told you guys this is where I can also change that. So then I also know that, so I know, oops, and it's still highlighted, sorry. I'm going to type in, I know that 9 and 1/10 is equal to 9 and 1/10. So I know that. Okay. Now my unknown, what I don't know is it says how many minutes did it take Miranda to finish the race, right? If I read that right here, that's what I don't know. So for my unknown, I'm going to write what was Miranda's time? Or I could write at what time did she finish the race? So that's what I'm looking for, right? Now, once I know that, I'm going to go to my verification statement. And if you remember, whenever we do a verification statement, I tell you all to use the question and restate it in your own words. The words that we always leave out is you're always going to leave out the question words, which is who, what, when, where, why, and how. I'm going to take that out and I'm going to look at the rest of the words and see how I can use those words to start my verification statement. So I'm going to use Miranda finished the race in blank minutes. So when I come down here, that's what I'm going to type in. Miranda finished the race in blank minutes. Now, I put blank because I don't know yet, right? I know this because, right? And so I'm going to leave that there once I figure out my O and my L. So for my O, which is going to be organize a plan, this is normally where you guys would write it out, right, with your pencil. So it's going to be a little bit different. So if you could just follow along. And then when you guys do the next problem, it's not necessarily going to be like this one. So just kind of work as best you can. Remember that up here, you guys have shapes you can use. You have these little lines if you wanted to do like a number line. You can draw another text box. You can also look for an image if you want to. If you click that, you can search the web. Say like they wanted you to do a shape, or the problem is talking about like people and you wanted to use that. Remember, you guys can get as creative as you want, but I mean, you don't have to overdo it, okay? So for O, organize a plan. Well, I know, right, that my total, if I wanted to use these here, I can say I'm going to use the line, and I'm going to do my line right here. And then what I'm going to do in here now is up here, I can still type, right? I know that my total is 37 and 6/10 because I know that that's the top part of it because it says that Miranda finished sooner. So if she finished the race sooner, that means she finished it in less time. So 37 and 6 is going to be my total. And I'm doing a strip diagram. And then I know one of the clues they gave me was 9 and 1/10 minutes, right? So then I'm going to go ahead and come here again. And what the little cursor, it doesn't mess with the lines you guys have here. You can go ahead and like move it around however you want. So I'm going to put 9 and 1/10 minutes, right? And so what I don't know is I don't know Miranda's time. So I'm looking for M. I'm looking for Miranda, right? That's what I'm looking for. So that's one way you all could do it. You all could also do it like a sentence, meaning like an equation, right? A situation equation. And if I wanted to do that, just to show you an example, I can say that M equals 37 and 6 minus 9 and 1. That's going to give me Miranda's time. Okay, so that's another way you all can do it. And I should probably put a little bit of space here so you all can see that it's subtraction. 37 and 6 minus 9 and 1 is going to give me M, Miranda's time. So now for my L, what I want you all to do is I do want you to solve it on paper before you start writing it on here. But I would go ahead and know that I'm subtracting. So I would in here, I can go ahead and start by saying 37 and 6 minus, oops, sorry, 9 and 1. Okay. And then I can hit enter and I can put my little line down there. And then I would go ahead and subtract. So 6 minus 1. I know 6 minus 1 gives me 5. And then I know that I bring my decimal down. And then 7 minus 9. I know I cannot take 9 from 7. So if you all wanted, just so that it makes a little more sense, remember you have these up here that you can use, right? I know that I'm going to have to regroup from my 3. So I know I'm taking from 3. I know that the 3 is going to turn into a 2, right? And I know that my 7 is now going to be a 17. So I'm going to go ahead and do, and I can even make the font size on those smaller so that they actually like fit. See, that looks better up there. So I know that the 7 here, I can also use my little line if I want. And know that up here, guys, you also have like options. You can just do like, you can just scribble. It doesn't really matter. And you can just do like draw your own little line. If it even came out. I don't know if it did. It doesn't look like it did. I'll just delete it. I'll just stick to the line. But know that you have like options. So I'm going to scratch my 7 out as well. And then I'm just going to click outside of that. So now 17 minus 9 gives me 8. And I know that 2 minus nothing gives me 2. So then it tells me, right there by solving it, that Miranda finished her race in 28 and 5/10 minutes. So Miranda finished the race in, and then here I would just go ahead and instead of the blank, 28 and 5/10 minutes. I know this because, and now I would finish writing it out because Miranda finished 9 and 1/10 minutes sooner than Ella's time of 37 and 6. So I subtracted to find Miranda's time. And so now how would I use this in the real world? That's how you all know I like for you all to use the, sorry, I'm trying to move the screen up here. Okay. That's how I would go ahead and do this part. So here I would go ahead and write, for my extend, I would write in, I can apply this in real life by, I could take how long it takes me to do my problem solving this week versus how long it takes me next week. And I can look for the difference in time, right? So I can apply this in real life by tracking my time to complete tasks at home. Maybe you can time yourself, see coach is going to be putting stuff up for PE, right? Maybe some of it is like running, jogging. I have no idea. Push-ups, right? How many can you get now versus, I don't know, next week, right? You can time yourself like that. So I can apply this in my life by tracking my time to complete tasks at home, racing with a sibling. What else could we do? Let me actually fix this and just take that out. Racing with a sibling. It could be how long I spend on my schoolwork versus maybe like breaks I'm taking. Try not to spend too much time just like on the work. Take time for yourself right now with your family, right? So tracking that, right? Time with family versus time doing work, okay? And I'll just put etc. Those are all the ways that I could use an example like this to see um, how much time I take to complete something. And so that would be it. That's your example for this week. Now I am going to tell you that, and I'm going to just move if it lets me. Oops, I did the wrong thing. Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to move myself over. I don't know why it highlighted everything. So that was this week's. This is going to be, or that's our example, not this week's, I'm sorry. This is going to be the one that you all are going to work on throughout the week. If you have any questions, remember to just message me, ask me. If you prefer to work it out on paper and you want to know, hey, Miss Adio, I took a picture of it. How do I just load the picture in here instead of writing it out? Like maybe you're not as comfortable doing that. You can always do that. Like let's say that you solved this right on paper, or like the one I did up here that you solved it on paper. I'm going to show you a quick way to do that. You can do, for example, I can just hit the add up here. I can put a blank slide. I had already taken a picture of my work because initially that's how I was going to do it, but you'd have to make sure like to save it onto your computer and all that good stuff. But if I go to like Drive, you'll see how it's going to pop up here on the side and it'll show like recents for me because I saved it onto my Drive. And let me just let it load. Sorry, the computer's been so slow. Okay, so you can see like here it's coming up barely. says image, so I could click it and then I can hit insert, and so it'll put it into the blank one like this, and I would just leave it like that, and that would be like my work, and I would know, okay, that's what they did whenever they solved it, and then that would be it. And then for you guys, it'll have like a turn in option at the top. But that's it, guys. So if you have any questions, remember I'm going to be here waiting to see if you guys do have any questions for me. So just make sure that you message me and keep the lines of communication open.